Oh, hello. Welcome back. I should have put on some background music, but I forgot again. So, here we are, doing same thing as we did last week with only my voice to keep you company. Um, right. When we last left off, we decided that we've had enough of Haka. Welcome back. And whoops, I did not realize I had that in a separate tab. So sorry if you can hear me twice. That was not intentional. Anyway, right, where were we? We've had enough of Haka. We are going back and checking our reconstructions for these first two guys, Harbin and Jinan, which you can see there. Good. And I went through all of the ones we had, and these were the lemmas with problems. Unsurprisingly, the vast majority of them are the ones with voiceless nasals. So let's just deal with that real quick. Voicing sonorants. And honestly, as I think about it more and more, I feel like the I can probably just do like a combining ring below and then have that character be deleted, right? Something like that. Just everywhere. If we apply that, we immediately get what we want. So yes, these are just the lemmas and they turn out correctly. So we're good. There. Uh so once we have dealt with all of that, all that's left for us to deal with for Harbin is let's apply that. Both of these turn out to be yen, so it doesn't actually matter. Let's see. Apparently we have problems with con, which should turn out as, let's check. Let's just control F to see. This should come out as can or can. So I guess this isn't so much of a problem with the input word. Well, this isn't so much a problem with the sound changes as we were just missing the level tone equivalent of this. So let's deal with that in a bit. But first, way is looks problematic. Looks problematic because so MW simplification. So apart from this, I guess we also want this disappears before ooh or something like that. Right? Or is that going to cause problems? That is going to cause problems because mu is mu and not wu. So there's like some sort of change there unless the breaking apart of that is really really early or the simplification of that is really really late. Um in which case I guess we could push this back or just use like something like a nasalized fricative. Hi drumstick again. Because what is that emojis? Is that a cow? Because cow is cow, and now woo. I don't get it. Unless your first message was OMG it heifer. In which case I still don't get it. But at least it's I see where the thought process is. Okay. So maybe we just want not. Yes, that is true. I don't get it, but it is true. Let's just move this afterwards. No, I guess we don't want the M before U rule. And instead, no, but then we have to like move this as well, right? Because otherwise, moi would become mui, and that would mess things up. Wonder how bad that messes it. What cow does a sound make? Hmm. I wonder indeed. Okay. We'll deal with tail later. Let's just add a separate. Okay, so I still don't know what's going on with this. It might just be that this doesn't level across, because this might not round across the board. I was trying to see if there are any words of similar phonetic shapes here, because I feel like there might be another yue somewhere else. Yue. And I'm not seeing it though, unless I'm missing something very obvious. There might not be another word that's yue. Oh, because do we have to deal with yuan? I think that was it. I think it was yuan that we have to deal with, or that we had to deal with. Which is why we had that rule. But maybe it's just treated differently before nasals and no, but then snow has we might not have snow here. Yeah. But snow is xie as well. Or maybe not as well, but like xie is like a separate word with a stop coda that has the same rhyme. And yeah, I'm not sure why this one has sporadically unrounded, but let's just say that that's the case. Should probably also do this. Apply. It's not doing anything. I might have specified some things to be T only. But essentially, what I'm trying to have happen is that, okay, I should just, whatever. Let's just say that this is T, which is probably the least marked consonant, least marked final stop consonant. So yeah, no good explanations for blood, which we should put down. We should write down. Sporadic unrounding of glide in becoming xie. And we're ignoring the tone here because this one's just a mess. Yeah, this one's just a mess. And then we can ignore these two. And essentially the only one we have to deal with in the end is muy or muy. And instead of it becoming may, this should become do we have a word for moi? Sister would be moi. So let's just put it here and make sure that so this one comes out correctly, which is may, but this one isn't may, this is way. So we might have to move this down, but then I think the problem is that once we move that down to the point where it happens after we breaks, like you and we breaking, then the problem is that both of these would become way, which means hello Hosea. Hosea? And we're ignoring the tone here, me when anything Chinese. Yeah, that happens a lot. Don't do that, kids. That is bad, poor form, as they say. I guess these would happen pretty early then. I think. I think that's the only thing I can say. These are both, yes, so these would have to happen before 1. What are these? These are 15. Yes, these would have to happen before 1, I think. I feel like this breaks something, though. Does it break something? It might break the fact that it might break this. No, but K assimilates as a glide, or final K becomes a glide at the same place of articulation as the vowel. So if it's a back vowel, it becomes a wa. If it's a front vowel, it becomes a ya. Does it mess anything up? It might not mess anything up. In which case, why is it that far back? Or that far down here? Let's just mess with the order here and see what happens. Right, so this has to happen before this. And then if we apply that, in that case it doesn't break afterwards, because A gets smoothed to E. Okay. This would have to be 1, just because of oh, this is happening at the same time as okay. Okay. But then this is oh no, this is an open syllable. So this should be fine. So it's just this. If we say that this happens at 1, if these are happening at 1, and instead these two happen at 2, does that cause, or these 3? Yes, these 3 happen at 2. Will this cause any problems? So these are 2, 2 and 2. That is still a well, this has to be 1 then. No, this has to be 1. These 2 have to be 2. And then these have to be 3, I think. Just getting the order right. So these 2 have to be 2. And then this is way, but this is oh. Well, that's an issue. Right, because moi would become muy. Instead of may. But we should become A, right? Because we had this break apart into Mue, and then just deleted the wa after. Yeah, here it is, and then deleted the wa. So we might have to dissimulate that twice then, unless the wa loss was early as well, but that feels wrong. What's a good solution for this? Okay, let's just undo all of that for now. Let's just keep that there. And maybe we can add an extra rule that deals with that. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll just say that yeah, we'll just do like first diphthong breaking or something. Is that gonna be a problem? Yes, because that is going to smooth back into we. That is going to smooth back into we. So okay, essentially what I'm let's work in this window. What I'm saying is that what I'm seeing is that we're having both mui and moi, or well, I guess the tone doesn't matter again. And then the first sound change we're putting it through is that we want to break ui to way or something like that. And then this would become way. And then this one is unchanged. So I'm just not going to put anything there. Looking at the next sound change then, the problem is that A smoothing comes after that. So the problem is that A would become E. And then this would just become we. But we don't want that. We want... Oh, and at the same time, we also have... Can I do this? No. Control Enter, I think? Yeah, there we go. And we also have all to ooh. Sorry about that. I'm getting the sniffles in spring. Between a labial and a final ya. So this one would become muy. But then if we go far, far, far down, probably move this, right? Move this window so we can actually see what's going on here. Or at least what I'm looking at here. And then we have the tone split stuff, which doesn't really affect this. None of this is relevant to these guys. And then once we get to and then we get to breaking, which is like we and we becoming way again. Then the problem is that both of these become way and merge, which is a problem. Because then what we have is that hello, Consuin. Good evening. Welcome again to our third. This is not our third. Welcome to troubleshooting code live on stream. The sequel, part 14 or something like that. What is this? What's the hyphen? What? What are you talking about? Oh, right. Okay. It's just the first breaking thing. It's 11:50. That is late. What is that? Like what time zone is that? Is that like vaguely Europe? Uh so yeah, the problem is that both of these merge and then we'll have wait, when did we lose this? Oh, actually this is fine, right? We have our first breaking and then if we insert one row above, we have first breaking and then we simplify MW. So M goes to nothing before wa, or yeah, before wa. And this would be way. And then this would be fine. I think. These don't merge. This would be Asia 451 and is that true? Oh. Yeah, I guess. It's dramatically not Western civilization. 4 hours? No. 7 hours ahead of our. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I have a. Okay. That makes sense. Yes, that is the east. I guess it's not nighttime here, huh? Yeah, because normally I stream at night. Yeah, I stream at nights, and so my brain is tuned to like, okay, so it's early in the morning for Europeans, or like very late at night. So like, yeah, and then for uh and then it's just in the middle of the day for Asia, or the beginning of the day, I suppose. So yeah, I think this works, right? This becomes way. This becomes uh, but then we have to delete this again. Okay, and then after that, oops, not that. And then after that, wa gets deleted after labials. So we end up with way and may. Meh. Which does come out correctly. So I think we do just have to like uh have these happen, or like push these one back. Yes. So essentially first breaking, we'll have we becoming way. Oops, I keep forgetting that it's a slash. But like at tone and at syllable, and then we move all three of these. Yeah, I guess this doesn't matter. Because we'll have like at least a symbolic difference between what was originally ui and what was originally oi. Uh yeah. So yes, let's put it here then, and hope that these come out right. Yep, these come out correctly. Um well, okay. You guys can see it. You guys couldn't see it, but here they are. Let's just reorder the windows. I suppose I didn't have to change the order of the windows. But yeah, this is what we have right now. I'm running out of water. This is an issue. But yeah, this is what we have. Let's delete all of this. Because that's no longer necessary. Although I suppose is that muy becoming muy and then becoming white. Um can I just say I'm not sure? I uh I guess that means like uh this has to happen afterwards just to avoid the clash. Or well, this has to happen after the breaking. No, that doesn't make any sense. Um no. Okay. So what's happening is that okay, we literally have this right here. I'm just blind apparently. Uh but we have this right here. So we start off as muy and moi. Um and then muy becomes muy, which then simplifies to wait. And then well, a becoming e is just symbolic, I guess. Like this is essentially just like ui, and then this would also be ui. So they have the same. Like I wouldn't say they don't rhyme, but essentially, it's no, it's not becoming a labelized mo, but or well, a rounded mo. But instead it's just you know, like it's four segments, like mue or something like that. Mue instead of mui. Uh, which is the extent to which I can differentiate those two. But we're having yes, so it's four segments, and then we simplify that to way. Or you could say that in doing so, it the wa just takes over the initial and then like pushes the ma off the syllable or something like that. Uh, does it make sense to think of it as that? Because I feel like without any yeah, I guess it doesn't. In any case, wa becomes the initial and ma gets deleted. Yeah, it's just a cluster simplification. Yeah. Um, what was I thinking of that made me think it doesn't make sense to push it off? Like, I guess it was because you can have bits that aren't part of the syllable that still have an effect or something like that. At least the example I was thinking of is how according to De Boer, uh Kyoto type tone systems have had their pitch drop shift one syllable ahead or one mora ahead. And so what in Tokyo type tones has an initial high tone and then the second and then a fall on the second mora. We might have example words that might be uh what's a head high Tokyo type kind of word? Uh wrong thing. What are the examples that people keep using? Like right? Why does it come out as it's weird. Uh let's do this. And then skip to Japanese. And by skip I mean scroll. Yeah, words like this. Ame gets a pitch drop at the beginning or like before the word even starts. So like if I'm saying like this pushes it off the syllable, then I feel like that only makes sense if it continues to have an effect on the syllable itself. But that's not what happened. That's not what's happening here. And instead, the M just gets deleted. Okay, probably worth it to check to see if actually while we're on this, let's just add that is loud. Holy crap. No, I can't see it. Where's oh, there it is. We need two of these. We need both the level tone and the non-level tone equivalent. Why is it so loud? I hope it's not too loud for you guys. Tell me if it is, because I'm still essentially a complete beginner when it comes to like adjusting audio and stuff. So if we apply these sound changes, nothing stands out as being wrong at first glance. I guess I should import the Harbin. Well, I guess we don't have a Harbin specific word list. Oh, I should probably bring up the I shouldn't go off of my memory. Instead, we should have this around so we could actually check if we're right. Think this is right. Okay, so in case I miss anything, here's my key for the A, B, X, and H's. A is 4-4. B is 2-4. X is 2-1-3, and H is 5-3. And the notation should be the same otherwise. Well, this one is identical to the other R. This R. But otherwise I think those should be good. Or those should be the same. So if I miss anything, it's up to you guys to catch it. Yeah. Man, my nose is really acting up today. Right. So these should be correct. These all look right. Well, except this one. But this one we noted as a problem early on. This one's good. Again, and there's also another thing where if it starts with a voiceless consonant and ends in a stop, we're ignoring the tone because that's just a whole mess. Like, yeah, gun. Yeah. This one's also a problem. Not sure I have a good explanation for that. But for some reason, instead of following the usual rule after velars, it just follows the like instead of following the usual rule of all after velars, it follows the general rule of all. Which becomes wa instead of yeah, it becomes wa instead of unlike the homophone from long ago, which is the first syllable of Russia. Lo, s, or shi, or something like that. Um, I'm guessing it's because like you kind of see it happening with the English I as well as in the first person pronoun. Uh, I use that because the old English form is like each, but um this eventually became English, regular English I, because I guess it's just I'd say it's just because it's in a weakly stressed position. And wait a sec. I think I forgot something. Uh, okay. Okay. This should be good now. Um right. Right. Good. Okay. Uh Let me see if this is okay. No, I'll just close that. Okay. Sorry about that. But we have the yes, okay. The mic is on. Yes, we have the usual yeah, so essentially what I'm trying to say by bringing this up is that this seems to be uh something that happens with pronouns in general, just kind of it being in a weak position in the sentence means everything but like it's minimally like you can, how should I say this? It gets reduced to the most reduced it can possibly be. And in the case of each, that was it becoming first E, yeah, from each, and then becoming E, and then going through the great vowel shift and becoming I, and then I. And then in it maybe in Harbin we have ngo, like fully stressed it would be like ngo, and then in a weakly stressed position it would just be like oh, and because it's all, then that goes through the regular process for all, which is becoming war, and then the tone stuff happens, and then it becomes war instead of ngai. It's not a thing in Mandarin, so let's just delete that. Miang becoming Ming. Oh, this was Ming Qi. So there should be an S actually. Which is fame, but name. Oh, is that a unique evolution? A unique semantic evolution? Because I kind of tie fame and name together, but I keep like, does that work in English? I guess kind of like a big name in the field or something like that. This one becoming sure is good. I ended up by default assigning the tone A to it. To these voiceless initial stop final words, but it's by no means secure because it's not actually an A. It's like just roll a d4 and decide which tone it will be. I guess I guess it's mostly in tone 1 and tone 3 though, or that is tone A and tone X. So like flip a coin, I guess, instead of rolling a d4. Name fame is a very common collexification CF Nyom wait Nyom Glu. Nyom Glu. Yeah, Nyom Glu in Tocharian's something. Nyom Glu. Okay, good to know. I really should be better at Tocharian than I am currently, because Tocharian's fun. I like how it kind of deleted, like, yeah, deleted. Did it delete anything? Yeah, I essentially I like how it reduced the PIEK system to like 3 or 4 cases, and then like tagged a bunch of stuff onto the end of one of them and called them new cases. So it's just Indo-European, but typologically quote unquote Altaic, right? So it's like the more like Finnic. Well, I suppose Finnic is part of Uralic. It's part of like kind of like Uralic, Mongolic, Tungusic, agglutinative, fun stuff. Tocharian A. I see. Well, I don't care about Tocharian A. Or at least I care less about Tocharian A than I do Tocharian B, just because we have more stuff. Like, I feel like we could plausibly construct a sentence in Tocharian B, and we just don't know, or at least you can plausibly like reconstruct a sentence in Tocharian B and read it out loud and have like a reasonable chance of getting understood by a native Tocharian B or Kuchian, I suppose. Tocharian B / Kuchian speaker. But when it comes to Tocharian A, I feel like well, that was my understanding as of like a couple of years ago, was that we don't understand enough about Tocharian A phonology and phonetics to even know where the stress is in a word. But yeah. Tocharian doesn't actually exist, government psyop. Yeah, of course Tocharian doesn't exist. It's an extinct language. Well, it's 2 extinct languages. Oh yeah, and also what we have of Tocharian A is just like preserved through it's like the liturgical language, and I don't know, I can't say I care less about those, but generally I care less about those. Meat being ro. Oh yeah, and that's the same as an initial r is the same as an initial zha, and a syllabic r is the same as a syllabic z. Or I guess a syllabic r would be the same as the syllabic l. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. This is ing. Anyone done a survey of Tocharian substrate words in Uyghur? Could be a good PhD. There must be some. I don't know. I thought they were like too far separated in time. Because I thought Tocharian B would be like around the 400s or something. And then I guess they were first attested in the 400s, so they probably like persisted for a bit longer. No, but then they had to be around since at least Old Chinese times. Otherwise, they wouldn't have borrowed the word for 10,000 from them, which would be the Mans. Yeah, 1,000 years or something. And then I'm pretty sure. When did the Uyghurs first show up in that region? Because I feel like after the my mental timeline of that region is that the Tocharians were there first, and then some BS happened, and then the Tanguts were over there, and then they got wiped out by the Mongolians or the Mongols, and then only after that we get the Uyghurs, just because they're there till the modern day. Old Uyghur Tocharian B speakers shifted to Old Uyghur speakers shifted to what is it, Chagatai, which became modern Uyghur. I would assume that like anything from Tocharian B that became that ended up in modern Uyghur probably was mediated through Old Uyghur, which means you probably have a better bet checking Old Uyghur loanwords in modern Uyghur, and then separately checking Tocharian loanwords in Old Uyghur. And I don't know, that doesn't feel like a PhD. That feels like too little for one. It might be a paper. It's probably like 1 or 2 papers, maybe even 3. But I feel like that's a bit too niche, or like content wise too lacking for an entire PhD thesis. Unless you're doing like, I don't know, like something about like language shift in prehistoric in the prehistoric Silk Road or something like that. Not prehistoric. I guess that would be historic, right? Because we have records of that place. But like language shift in the Tarim Basin or something like that. Am I saying that right? Is it Tarim, or is that is there is it like Tarim, or I don't know. I feel like reading that word based on normal English spelling rules, which do exist, is a recipe for disaster, just because it's a recent loan word. Ethnaric Horde has discovered a non-IE language in a few Tocharian manuscripts. Maybe it's the original language of the Tarim. The Tarim mummies are not IE. Tarim. Yeah, that makes sense. What is it in what does Wikipedia say? Basin. Wikipedia should have a pronunciation guide. Wikipedia does not have a pronunciation guide. Heck. Well, Wiktionary. If Wikipedia don't got me, Wiktionary got me. Hopefully. God damn it. Tarim. Tarim is how I understand what this says, but I hate this. Tocharian is actually a dialect of Arabic. Yeah, the letters are all there. So yeah, mummies was the first. Where were we before we went off on that tangent? But yeah, I think one of the most interesting things about them was that this word for 10,000, man, is somewhat of an area. It's an aerial word. Yes, consider this since. Can you guys see it? Might not. It might be kind of off screen somewhat. Yeah, it is. Here's the rest of it. But yeah, Schussler, blah, blah, blah. Similar words are found in just a bunch of the words. Here they're treated as very old loan words from Chinese. But, I don't know. I'm sure there's an argument for it being a loan word to Chinese, and there's an argument for it being a loan word from Chinese. And, yeah. I think both are possible. It's just like one of those aerial words that you can't really tease out the path. You know, someone who BS'd a video of the region made the whole thing up. Wait, are you no, I'm not gonna name names. I don't want to like give anyone like that any more publicity than they should, but was it the guy you were complaining about somewhere else? This is right. This is right. 2-1 is an alpha. Maybe I should be like transcribing these like better. If I want to have you guys check this. But 2-1 is a non-sentence final allophone of 213. So it is another realization of X. And here I do because I'm just saying I'm just like picking out the relevant bit. They don't have the word for they don't have the common word for neck, which is yang. And instead they have 脖子. Yuan is correct. This is not the word that we want. Let me just load our usual thing. I really should update this because I have concluded, quote unquote, concluded that you have the zu allomorph, I guess, and you also have the zao. Whoops, that's not how you type that. You have your zu, and you also have your zao. Although this should not happen either. For words with nai, I believe. Well, I can't really think of a word that would go back to an original nai that came out in Mandarin unscathed. Well, I suppose none of these words come out unscathed. Well, very few of them, I suppose. But I think none of them survive in Mandarin in any case. And yeah, this one gives the right thing. So 走 gives us 做. Here indicated with a schwa in the 5/3 tone, which is correct. The only reason that I'm saying that this is saying this out loud is 做 is because there's, you see this stop before rule schwa allophony 99. If we don't, then we get the actual form, the actual phonetic form, which would be somewhere here, 做. And then there's also a bunch of like palatalization stuff using like actual palatal symbols, but that shifts it from phonemic representation to a phonetic representation, which is more trouble than it's worth. But I'm still saying them with the phonetics. And one thing that really annoys me about Wiktionary, and I think is something that I've heard people talk about changing, is that I don't know why this is the first word that came to mind with but you see this, right? This is like just not phonemic. at all. Like I can see W and then yeah, I can see W E and then J, right? Yod, right? And I can also see like something relatively sensible like this, UEI, way. But for some reason, someone decided to put sorry, nose issues again. Anyway, as I was saying, I can see like UEI, like way, even though it's not fully phonemic for Xi'an. This would be if we're doing something that's like properly phonemic, this would be I guess not. I guess you do have a difference. What's a good I suppose that would be the only one, right? The Beijing Mandarin. Uh I can accept UEI as a phonemic representation of Beijing Mandarin, but uh, even though it's not like fully phonemic, because E in, or rather, the vowel E in Mandarin is the vowel sounds E, O, or E, O, and stuff like that. Those are all allophones of schwa, which is how I represented them here. Um, but I can understand if someone wants to use like and all, right? But this is just like not even trying. Um, Another word that I can think of that is even worse probably is gui. Although they might actually use you here. Yeah. But then like don't use that non-syllabic syllable symbol, please. Hi, sorry, was busy. Were you busy oh, you weren't busy typing out the answer to that. Yeah, was the person who made up the history of the Tarim Basin the guy you were annoyed about somewhere else? Or like the they were complaining about a map maker, I think. That was the context that I was thinking of. Where am I in here? I feel like I've scrolled way past where we were supposed to be. You don't have oh, but you do have Fang. Uh, sure. Yes, sure is right. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Fa. This is an unstressed syllable. And so they're really bad about quite a few of them that you complain about in terms of who he was, some kid who wanted to collab with you, who offered to collab. So you agree. Should have checked out their channel. Should have left them on red for like a few days as you check out their content. Oh, Mao is not. Well, this one comes out to the right thing anyway. But this is not. Um, Wait, would this be Mo or would this be Mao? No, it would be Mo, because Mandarin merges on and then the only way to get that to merge with Cantonese Mu is if it was an original Mo. Otherwise, it would be Mao, like the word for cat. One okay video, two of them which are just made up. Fine, as long as you do the research. This and then you can. Ah, amazing, great fun. Amazing. I wonder. Uh. Oh, when you say he comes up with this Hellfest of a video, that wasn't the collab video. Hi Trinity, welcome. Congrats on finally catching a stream, which won't end like 3 seconds later. We still have like approximately an hour, I think. At least half an hour, probably like an hour. Before my hunger overtakes my better judgment and I go eat. Actually, that would be the better judgment, wouldn't it? If I'm hungry. Okay. You have a policy where you ignore all collabs. Yeah. Hey, do you want to collaborate on I don't know, phonological history of Sinitic? That's okay. You'll take free subs. I feel like all of your subs are. How do you learn Lexergy? You have a history of coding. No. I think it's pretty easy, right? Like it's just that instead of the regular angle thingy, you use this, and then just add spaces in between everything. And then this is just like, if you want this to apply to a bunch of stuff, then you define a class. For example, P, and then you call it with if you need to use it in a formula later, in a sound change formula later, then you just use at P or something. And then in this class P, you just like angle. These aren't angle These aren't angle brackets. These are curly brackets. Your curly brackets a bunch of things in between commas. And then, like for example, if you have this class called tone with X and H, then you can apply things to tone X and H by using at tone here. At least to me it feels somewhat intuitive, but like the big thing is that you have to like have a title, have a name for each sound change separated by hyphens, and then only after that you can apply your sound change. Oh yeah, and this is the null symbol. What else? Syllable edges are. I actually don't know if this is like a syllable edge or a word edge, but in Sinitic we're dealing with syllables anyway, so to me it doesn't really matter. Now once we move on to like polysyllabic stuff, now that's going to be a bit of a problem. And you can see this here because I separate all of the syllables with spaces, so it's kind of treating it as like multiple words, which is what we want here anyway. Because although okay, this is like the traditional way of doing things, which is just like treating each syllable as a separate word in Sinitic, but I feel like there are at least some word boundary effects, or not word boundary, but like there are syllable. I feel like there are polysyllabic words in Sinitic which for which like word internal positions are somewhat important, although I don't know because the biggest example I have, I think, is not actually a good example. Shoot, how do you type that? This is, you're watching me forget how to write firsthand. This one. Ah, shit. I just lost it. Can you actually see what I'm typing? Or is it just like me hovering over uh the the search bar with nothing to see. Anyway, what is it, like seal script? Okay, I'm pretty sure I know how to write the word. It's just that I can't figure out how to type the word, even though it's the whole reason for me doing using this stroke method, or this stroke order input method, is to make sure I can type whatever I can write. Turns out that's a very idealized understanding of the process. And that doesn't even lead me to, this is not the word I was thinking of. I think it's clerical script, right? Because sometimes people code dots differently, and yeah, this is the word I was thinking of. Yeah, I was thinking of all of these words with like at the initial. So this is I believe voiceless unaspirated. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I don't like coding either, but oh, I guess this is a t. It's interesting. Oh, right, cuz it's an original voiced thing. Voice thingy. So for example, you can see this one is la, right? I feel like um wait, is this the one for, yes. So for example, I'm thinking that the reason that this is a la is because um it was originally a the, but then that became lenited in the middle of a word. So this would be original nu wait nudi nudi, and then just, intervocalic tapping and stuff happens, and then this becomes nudi or nudi, and then nudi. um but that might not be true, because the judging by the phonetic, wait wait wait, isn't this also, yeah, this is a duh. Yeah, so this does, I feel like this writes a duh, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, well, no, this one is a if this is phonetic, then this would be a okay. We're delving into old Chinese territory, which is like completely out of the scope of like what we were supposed to do. But like this is fun, so we're doing that instead. So at least what I'm thinking of is that this should not be a ra, or this should not be a ra, but this should be a la, because the series with this phonetic character generally goes back to an old Chinese la, which we can see with this one, because old Chinese la comes out as Middle Chinese, or okay, Old Chinese pharyngalized la. So probably something like wa comes out as Middle Chinese duh. So what's some shit? Yeah, was it snake oil? um. So yeah, that comes out as duh, and this one is C or say or something like that. Yeah, C, and an S goes back to also an old Chinese la, but it's a non-pharyngalized la, which otherwise comes out as like no, this would, if it comes out as C, this would be an Old Chinese non-pharyngalized voiceless la, so something like sha, and this would come out. This would have to go back to an Old Chinese la, or not the ignore the frication. So it'd be like la. And I feel like just for consistency's sake, this would have to go back to an Old Chinese la, because it seems to me if to me these could be indicative of like going back to Old Chinese ra, but I think the more likely explanation here is that these are all like literary borrowings from the prestige variety, which has la. And the reason that the prestige variety has la is because there was an intervocalic flapping and lenition of an original da, which, if we take that to be true, it would go back to Old Chinese la. Anyway, that's just it's just me being completely distracted, which is fine because that's the whole point of this stream, is to like I'm using doing a reconstruction as an excuse to just like talk about stuff, you know. Now, if only I could remember where I leave off before I get distracted. I think we've covered this. Oh, and another thing is that we haven't gotten to Cantonese yet, but can you see that? Yes, you can. I think. But the word for night is kind of what makes me think that Cantonese and Mandarin are actually pretty close in the whole tree diagram, because you have the original ya both go to ye in both of these languages, even though this is symbolized by a schwa, and then yeah, in Mandarin that merges to schwa with all, and then like gets deleted after a retroflex or something like that. But essentially both turning ya, an original ya, into ye is what makes me think they're closely related. At least part of it. Ear, ni, or ni becoming R. Another thing is that I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm getting less and less enamored with this solution, the voiceless sonorant solution. I think it's still, actually I might have done that the past few streams as well, but I think it's just that after the tone split, like the whole reason we're reconstructing this is because of the Hakka branch, which shifted certain words with sonorant initials to, or kept certain sonorant initial rising tone words symbolized by the X in the rising tone when voiced initial rising tone syllables would normally go to well, the equivalent of 4/4 here. But I think we're still keeping that as a symbol, but I think what happened was that after the tone split, they just had like some sort of maybe like diminutive or like body part kind of function that like just causes a tone change, which you can also kind of see in Cantonese. It's not like a body part thing, but like a historical diminutive in Cantonese makes everything like collapse into the 3/5 tone, if you can see it. No, you could not. But like the equivalent of this upper rising tone category instead of the lower 2 and 3. like the upper 2 and 3. So it just brings everything into what was originally a voiceless initial rising tone syllable. So you have what was originally do we have the word for fish around? Oh, the word for name, for example. This would Myang would regularly become Cantonese Mang, but whenever someone says name, it's always Mang with a 3-5 tone or maybe a 2-5 tone. I'm not sure, not quite sure what the starting point of that is, but it's the upper rising tone, an upper rising tone, like the higher one, as opposed to Mang, I suppose. Even though it has like a sonorant initial, and obviously that means it's voiced. Well, I suppose it's not obviously since we have voiceless sonorants, but this is a voiced sonorant, so it would go regularly into, one of the lower tones. But instead, because of this historical diminutive function, a bunch of nouns just end up going into the upper rising tone in Cantonese. We don't have this word. We do have far, which checks out, I'm pretty sure. Should drink some water. What was that? Like 20 minutes of nonstop talking? I really should have drank some water in the meantime. Okay. We have the word for to do, which I think we've already covered, which is this form. Wait, did I save this? I think that was the only thing we added, but I don't remember if I saved that. I did not. Great. So let's do that real quick. So, yep. Becoming 做 rather. Yes. Did I also deal with the... No, I didn't. It's a secret tool that will help us later. But let's just fix that for the time being, and then export that to that. And then let's back down here. The right thing. This is not the Harbin Mandarin word for that. Instead, it's Fang, which I've scrolled past. Vong becoming Fang, and the reason I reconstructed this as Vong is because it's cognate, or well, I think it's obviously cognate with the Cantonese Fong, or again, one of those diminutive tone changes. Again, it's Fong, which means room instead of house. But just because of that, I think that tone, the original tone being Fong, means it goes back to an original V, or an original voiced initial, and obviously the voiced, obviously the voiced equivalent of F would be V. So, therefore, Vong it is. Rock. Ja becoming Shi. Bitter becoming Ku. And then, Jian. All right, I did say we were doing two things today. With luck, I may be able to fulfill that promise. Tooth becoming Fa, being that, and then we also have like both forms of big, but this is like one of those old names for a traditional Chinese doctor, Daifu, or I guess what would that be in Cantonese? It would just be Daifu, right? Although I guess that doesn't matter in Cantonese because the word, both that word for doctor and the word for big use this form, which is die. Or maybe that was too creaky. Die. Or something like that. Which both come out as die in Hong Kong, or in Hong Kong Cantonese. But we also see the yodless form in many other lects. Like obviously Mandarin, which you can see before you right here, but also in Hokkien, where it's blah. One is e, shui. Yeah, ta being ta, da being da. But we don't have the dang form, which only survives in Wu, I believe. Even though, as you may be able to tell by the phonetic, or maybe I am overestimating your knowledge of Chinese. Oh, that's... Wait. There we go. As you can see, most of these, ignore this for now, and ignore this for now. Because this one isn't even descended from Middle Chinese, so let's just ignore all of the mins, and let's just ignore Wu for now because we'll talk about that later. But you can see that all of these are like open syllables, right? None of them have like a coda or anything, except for Wu. But you can tell by the Middle Chinese rhyme books that apparently these ended in at the or at least there is no non final pronunciation recorded for this word to hit. But it actually goes into it in the etymology. The character has been borrowed for another word with the same meaning but a different pronunciation without the nasal ending. But this may be related to the previous one as a dialectal variant. Oh, this is interesting. Apparently, apart from Wu, this also appears in you see that? Yeah, it's good enough. You can see that well enough. Apart from Wu, apparently you can also see that in Vietnamese as well, which is what is this? That I haven't done Vietnamese in so long. I think it's that with that implosive but at the beginning. And so essentially what I'm saying is that this doesn't appear in Mandarin. And only the da form does. So that comes out as da. Both of these merge. Gyo and got both merge, which I feel less bad for targeting this single syllable here, because it's not just one syllable. It's it happens to both velar finals. Sorry, I'm just filling up on water. All 5 drops of it left. Okay. Although I might have to break out the water bottle as well, which I try not to use while I'm at home, because that's for outside use, because you can't really get water as easily if you're not at home. Anyway, zhe. Honestly, this one's pretty easy to explain. This is just a correction. No, this is just a contraction of the word here, which is zhe, and one, the word for one, which is yi. So if you have like zhe yi, and then you say that really quickly, especially since it's like, you know, a low stress position in a sentence, you end up with 这个. So 这一个, then that becomes 这个. And so the e just becomes a coda to the previous syllable, 这. So you end up with j instead of just 这. Okay, and here, as well as in, I'm pretty sure we can see this in other lemmas as well. We see the Mandarin diminutive strategy, which is appending r to the end. Although this has to be Arial, right? If because you also see, okay, so this word, the comes from a word meaning son, I think, or child, or like small thing, like small human. Yeah, child son. And it being an original something like let's say it's something like ni at the very beginning. We have yi in Hong Kong, in Cantonese. It r in Beijing as well as Harbin. Maybe I shouldn't talk about the others. And well, it becomes in Wu. And you can see that, well, you might not be able to see it because there are too few lemmas here. Yeah, I don't think you can see it in Wu, but you'll have to trust me when I say that the diminutive forming strategy in Wu and in Mandarin both involve attaching this word, which was originally ni, which would be an original ni in this reconstruction, onto the end of the previous word. So this becomes 左 r, but given that the r is in a coda and it just becomes the coda of the previous word. So this becomes 左. The equivalent, which I'm not sure exists in Wu, would probably be something like 左 or something like that. Well, yeah, 左 or something. Although that would be more obvious with a word with an open syllable instead of something that ends in a glottal stop. And apparently that's also how the word for mahjong came about. Because we have in the south, in Cantonese, we have mahjong with K coda on the final word. But apparently when and that apparently corresponds to wu ma or mo chio or something like that, mo or mo chio, and then they added the diminutive onto it, so that becomes mo chio or mo chio or something, and then Mandarin just borrowed that as ma jiang, and that got exported elsewhere. Anyway, us getting distracted and not finishing what I set out to do. I think these should all be fine. They don't have the common word for to stand. Do have navel being qi. So that's good. Boy checks out as it becomes bei. When checks out, smoke checks out, child checks out, egg checks out. I'm not too sure about this one because it seems, as you can see by Jinan and other Mandarinic varieties, you can see a K initial kind of word here for it to give. But I think the only way we could get an a final so far in our reconstruction is with a stop coda. The problem is that I'm not sure I would reconstruct such a or not a stop coda. I'm not sure I would reconstruct such. Is that true? Yeah, I don't think this vocalization rule, or rather K becoming a glide rule, exists in other varieties. It does exist in Jinan, but I'm not sure. We might have to compare this with the word for black up here. I don't know. We don't have the word here to give. But it might check out. I guess you couldn't see that. But like you have hu here, but you don't have the word for or we don't have the word for it to give in Luoyang. Oh, I guess we also have like wait, one by let me do this one by one. So I don't confuse myself and hurt myself in my confusion. Problem is, do these guys have? Yeah, the problem is that these guys with stop codas in black, so that in like he doesn't have one in to give. Instead, you're just gi or gay. This might be a clue here. Gui. No, you can't do like you can't. This can't go back to an original gui because that would also come out as gui in here. So you so this would be stuck as yeah, we would have to reconstruct this as gay 2 and 3, or we would have to reconstruct this as a stop coda. Even though we have other ways to get an a coda such as bei here, but you know that's not something that we could work with, I think. Can this just be explained by all directly going to instead of breaking? I don't think so. Unless you're saying that all breaks to which would be kind of a problem. Anyway, back on RBS, which is the word for to give. Yeah. So I think we're stuck with gek for now. giving us gay. Unfortunately. I should also really add the word for or rather I should add the Cantonese word for to give, because right now we only have the Mandarin nick get and the Hakka bun. So let's add bi and save that. Okay, and then let's get back down here. Xin checks out. Shao checks out. Bu also checks out. I mean, the tone is wrong, but you know that's what happens when you'll have a language with troublesome T's or something. Okay. Or, well, troublesome tonal distributions for voiceless initial stop final syllables. 后 becoming 好 知道 becoming 知道 or 知道 yeah. They use a different word for knee, which is also problematic reconstruction in general when it comes to the initial. This might just be like an aerial thing. Sam being sha is normal. Small being, or to laugh being xiao is good. It's coming ting. Mud becoming ni. Leaf becoming yeah. And again you see the at the end. Hong, red. Gan don't have thought didn't survive in this Mandarin. We do have Tang and Pi. And well, Schlorp is kind of onomatopoeic. I'm not sure we could reconstruct an ancestor there because it's so very diverse here. To bring being dai, becoming dai. Essentially passing through unchanged, except for the realization of the tone. Ant being mai is good. Or is it here? I guess this didn't really survive. This is zhong as an important instead of heavy. To take being na, old being jiu. 吃 and the other two don't survive there or were never a thing there. 腿 here, 后 good, 长 吹 木 it's good. 跑 you don't have 跌 instead of you have 卡. Both of these come out as yen, even though it seems I'm not sure whether to reconstruct a ya there, but it seems like Hakka is pointing towards one with ya, and Cantonese and Mandarin. Well, wouldn't be able to tell with Mandarin. Cantonese, Mandarin is agnostic, as you can see. Both of these come out as yen, but Cantonese points towards ngan here. Hui is good. Tail, specifically the mui form coming out as wei. And then the ni form coming out as yi. So both of these check out. The word for dog being gao comes out as go. Crying, ku, tying, bang. To see being kan and kan. So both of these forms exist. Although funnily enough, only the sorry, where's that? Something I hacked it. Okay. Yes. Funnily enough, only one of these survive in Cantonese, and it doesn't mean to see. Instead, it means to watch, to guard. So a security guard would be Hongang, so that would be the regular reflex of con, and ke becomes he in Cantonese, so that becomes hon, or like honzuko, which is like keep an eye on him or them, instead of which would be cognated with this kan instead of kan, which would be hon, which kind of survives, but only as like a reading pronunciation of this character. Sweet becoming tian is good. Rope becoming sheng. In ying. This one doesn't survive in Mandarin, and in fact, I'm pretty sure it became this one. Instead of diao, it became niao, because diao would be profanity. Some pretty it would be the equivalent of the word fuck in in Cantonese, and presumably also in Mandarin, because it seems like the other branches don't really have a problem with this, and it's just and it's just Cantonese and Mandarin that had this taboo avoidance thing, which changed diao into niao, which is another argument for them being more closely related than the rest. Okay. What was this? What's after bird? Salt being yen. Small being xiao. I guess, is that the only word, or should I also reconstruct say? It seems like most of these are xiao. And yes, say, I believe, or sai, so that would be say. Say would be narrow instead. Narrow, fine, that kind of meaning. This one has the na form. This one takes the na form. So we have quan becoming quan, or quan becoming quan. And then we also have well, this would come out as quo, and often they are put together as I think they're often put together. But you probably shouldn't trust me on that, because I am heavily biased by Cantonese doing this or wait. Okay, it doesn't. I know how to write the word. Again, it's like some weird typing rule thing that's preventing me from showing it. But yeah, they're often put together as I'm not sure if it's valid in Mandarin, but in Cantonese it would be like fun fut. In Mandarin it could be like quan kuo if it's valid. And then we have inside, which is li. Hard, which is li becoming li. Yang becoming yin. Word for to grind. Mo becoming this is wrong. Great. Finally, an error that we caught. Is there anything else? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 to 10 is fine. Liang is good. Heart being xin. Fingernail being 甲. Tears, 泪 becoming 泪, and then dying becoming 死. Those are all good. So it's literally just this one. Let's delete everything. And then check this one word. And try to figure out why it became wa. So let's just how many are there? 16. So let's stop this before 9. This one becomes wall. So the problem is earlier. So let's end this before here. Apparently the problem's earlier than that. This becomes more. Why does this become more? Because it's more. So for this rule, where you... Okay, this is a simple enough fix, I think. Class P also includes wa. So I guess it's like only like coronal consonants get this wa inserted. But if we apply this, by which I mean apply this, then this comes out right. Good. And I believe this shouldn't mess up anything else, especially not the problematic words that we had originally. And after we delete all of the voiceless sonorants, I guess it's mostly just mui, right? So yeah, it really is just like mui and then moi, which isn't in here, and mo. And if we apply that, these come out to the right things, which are wei, mei, and mo. Okay, good. We have 10 minutes left to deal with the other one. So let's just quickly check. Okay, I should probably export this. I should probably save this, shouldn't I? So Harbin. And then let's quickly deal with the other one, which should just be pretty similar. What? No, Jinan problems. There we go. Essentially, goodness. Pretty much the same problem. Let's just deal with voiceless sonorants. We should have had Harpin here just to deal with that. There we go. Once we apply that, all of our problems go away. Not really. That's too ambitious. This would be put. Apply this. Actually, these do come out right. Some of these do come out right. Like the word for to give. I'm pretty sure isn't actually an issue. This becomes gay. Oh. Why does this... Oh, the tone is an issue. Gay. But that would... Huh. That is kind of an issue, isn't it? Because this comes out as gay in Harbin. This becomes gay in Jinan. And I'm pretty sure all stop final words... I should probably fix this so that this is... this reflects our latest set of words. But, and I'm pretty sure these aren't an issue anymore. And then if we apply these, no, U is right? The word for house. Where is the word for house? U. Yeah. This was right. Why are you here? Be gone. The word for louse becomes 2-1. But I'm pretty sure that's because of like some tone senti stuff. Right? No, it is not. I'm also looking at the wrong word. Because if it were... No, maybe 2-1-3 becomes 2-1. No, 2-3 becomes 5-5. 2-1 becomes 4-4. So what surfaces as 2-1? Wait, we can do this by process of elimination. 2-3 gets eliminated because that would come out as 5-5. So we can eliminate 2-3. So that's not 2-3. It's not 4-2 because it would come out as 5-5 again. And what we have here is 2-1. So it's not 2-1-3, it's not 4-2. So it could be 5-5 or 2-1. It might just be 2-1. Because there's no... No, 2-1 comes out as 4-4. So it can't be 2-1, so it has to be 5-5, right? No, but 5-5 comes... Yeah. 5-5 comes out as 2-1-3. And I probably just, like, left out the 3 or something. So the correct one would be S... Or, well, SR. No, this would be sh in 5-5 instead of sh in A. Could it be a borrowing? But it's 16 on the Leipzig-Jakarta list. Which means it's pretty conservative. It should be pretty conservative at least. So I can't see why it would be something else like that. Can we characterize the various Mandarinic varieties by which tone that goes into? It seems like Dalian and Jinan both have that in their rising tone. And if we look at Google Maps, those are pretty close together, I think. Well, if you look at the thumbnail for this stream, you would be able to see that. Jinan is on a peninsula, as the one in the chicken's head is Harbin. The endpoint. That is one of the ones with the question marks. And Dalian is like somewhere like on the chin of that chicken's head. So they're kind of close by, separated by a little inlet sea or something. Oh, this one also has the same problem as Harbin, which is again, low sentential stress means the w gets deleted, I think. And the word for to do is a problem because this is either zo or zuo. Zuo is literary, so that's more likely to be a borrowing. So zo would be, or zo would be the no, because they do preserve the phonetically. So this would be zo. So would be the inherited form, but there's nothing that comes out as zo unless it's like zo. But you don't have the rules for k becoming yes, because you only have the front loss, or you only have k becoming a front vowel or a front glide. But you don't have k becoming a back glide. So that doesn't work as a solution. Unfortunate. Again, same issue with I. Actually, it's a different issue with I. If ngol becomes just o, due to low sentential stress, that comes out as v. But you also have this form which is ng. The problem is that of all the words here, ng is only preserved in that one. So, well, no. I guess we would need more words that are of ngol, like that start with ngol, because all of these other words that start with ng end up with a y glide inserted there, and it's possible, I think, that it only deletes ng before a y. See, like ngay also smooths to ngi, and then ng is before an e now, and that gets deleted. Same issue with, like, for example, ngan. This becomes ngan in zinan, and then the ng is next to a ya again, and then the ng drops off. Were there any other words? Yeah, again, ngang becomes ngyang, and then becomes nging, and then it drops off again. I guess this would be the counterexample. Ngu becoming wu. Although I guess that could be like a common Mandarinic thing. So like maybe it only preserves yeah, so what I need to do is to check it for words like music. So yamngol, which would probably just go back to something originally like imngol. Just like a bunch of words that start with ngol. So words like shore as well, like ngon, ngon in Cantonese, so there would be like ngon in the proto language, and see if those turn out as nothing, or whether this one is also or yeah, to see whether the gets deleted or whether it's preserved. But yeah, it's 1:30. I think it's about time I get something to eat. And thank you all for watching. We will be back at this next week. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Not really. There's like, the usual stream stuff during the week. We are doing Silk Song on Tuesday, and Outer Wilds again on Thursday, which might which might be our last stream on the main game. But there is the DLC. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you all